If you're not wearing Barefoot shoes already, you will be soon. This is the all-new FeelGround Courtside, and even though they might look like a pair of Jordans, these shoes are actually hiding a dirty little secret. Today we're going to be tearing them down, and we are going to be finding out what that secret is. The first giveaway is actually in their construction. Now, the FeelGrounds weigh a little over 300 grams, which is 66% of the Jordan's frankly obese 450. And while 150 grams might not sound all that significant, particularly if you're a bigger guy like me, let me tell you why you're wrong.
Naughty, naughty.
Unlike a static load like a backpack, which is constant and steady and produces a single response when you move, particularly when you're doing sports, your feet and your shoes become a dynamic load, which creates a constantly varied force on your body. Now, 150 grams is not a lot when you look at it as a single static number, but when we multiply it by the average number of steps that you take per day, in my case around 11,000, you'll see what the problem is. In the Jordans, your total daily load just from your shoes is 4,950 kilograms. In the FeelGrounds, that's 3,300, which is over 1.5 tons difference, the same as a male Pacific walrus. And that isn't an irrelevant statistic. Shoe manufacturers and sports scientists have been obsessed over that number for a long time because it's not only important for setting personal best times, but also reducing an athlete's risk of injury. The guy that actually made the Jordans, Nike founder Phil Knight, even talks about this at length in his book, Shoe Dog. Light shoes made for better athletes, and these are not only lightweight, but they look good. The outside is made from faux leather, which is a fancy way of saying vegan leather. I personally prefer normal leather, as I do a lot of hiking and a lot of work outdoors, and I like to be able to reuse old materials. But given that these shoes are made for the rare times that I actually make an effort to look nice and go into society, the pleather is just fine. And while it might not be as hard wearing as normal leather, it has got some really good perks to it, like it's very properly water repellent as it can't saturate, which is a really useful feature. On the inside of the shoe, we've actually got two different materials. We've got the standard non-removable insole, which is made of a micro suede. You can buy a cork insole separately if you want some more underfoot support from the website. And then the lining of the shoe itself, which is made from a combination of something called lyocell and then recycled PET. Now, lyocell, I found out, is known for being very soft, it's very durable, and it's actually made from eucalyptus wood fiber, and PET is made from recycled plastic bottles, and the same materials that they've used in the laces on these shoes. Now, that material combination not only makes these shoes durable enough for indoor sports, but also really, really breathable, which is a huge plus if you plan on using these shoes for something like basketball. Obviously, though, most people, myself included, are going to be wearing these as a general day-to-day shoe, maybe for walking down to the office or going out for dinner on an evening. Which leads me on to the main selling point for these shoes and their dirty little secret, which is their barefoot design. The sole on these shoes is made from a recycled rubber, and it is incredibly thin. Let's do the spring test. Oh, like most barefoot shoes, these are also zero drop, meaning there is no difference in the sole thickness between the front of the shoe and the rear of the shoe, and the total stack height, or the total thickness of this, is just 5 millimeters. If you've never tried barefoot shoes before, that sole thickness is going to open you up to a completely new walking experience. The only way that I can really describe it if you haven't tried barefoot shoes before is being connected but also protected. You can experience an incredible amount of ground feel, which is a term that we use quite a lot to describe the experience of walking in barefoot shoes, and it refers to how much tactile feedback you're getting through the floor. As an example, these are so thin that you can actually feel the crack in a pavement as you walk over it. And while that might sound uncomfortable to some of you, it's actually what draws so many people into barefoot shoes. And that's something that we talk about a lot on this channel, so make sure you hit that subscribe button down there to support your barefoot journey. Now, while you can feel so much more of your environment, the sole also works to provide protection. So while you might feel the shape and the size of a Lego block, for example, where you're stepping on it, it wouldn't cause any pain, it wouldn't cause any discomfort whilst you do it. And that's why I highly recommend actually trying barefoot shoes just for that alone, especially if you're living in a city and you don't have much access to nature, or if you spend a lot of time exploring the great outdoors. There's a lot of health benefits to engaging in your environment. The second big giveaway that these are Barefoot shoes is up at the very front of the shoe itself, in what we call the toe box. Now, FeelGround have absolutely smashed this design. Unlike a lot of other Barefoot shoes like the Vibram 5 Fingers, there are no obvious clues at all that these are anything other than an ordinary pair of sneakers. And they've hidden some of the giveaways really well with the use of different textures or materials or different colors. All of that serves to disguise the thinness of this sole. And when you're looking at the shoes from the top down, it hides just how wide these shoes are really, really well. But then when we overlay two photos of these in the Jordans, that difference becomes very clear. As for sizing, I personally ordered a Euro 47, a US 13, which is my usual size, and these fit really nicely. They don't come with an insole, as we've already spoken about. You actually have to buy those separately, which I'm not a huge fan of. It's not the biggest issue though. I generally wear them without, and while there is a little bit of space going up and down through these shoes that would be absorbed with an insole, my foot doesn't feel loose. They've got these really, really nice cushioned cuffs around the ankles, which gives a very nice snug fit. And there's also plenty of room around the toe box. They aren't as roomy as some of the other shoes that I've tested on the channel in the past, but unless you happen to have very wide feet, that isn't really going to present an issue for your average person. So all in, no complaints. As for durability, the old model of these shoes was pretty well known for having some durability issues. Fortunately, FeelGround listened. They did something about it. So when I ordered these shoes, it was on the understanding that this is with an updated sole for the end of 23 going into 2024. The rubber is a slightly harder compound. It's going to be much better for durability without losing too much in the way of grippiness. As long as you're not doing sports on a textured surface like tarmac, where you're going to be accelerating the heating up and the cooling down and the friction, the abrasion on these soles, I think they're actually going to last really well. So any indoor basketball, badminton, tennis, anything like that, these could be a very bona fide, very useful shoe for you to be able to own, use, and wear. Do I think durability is going to be an issue if you're just wearing these shoes around town for casual wear? Not really. I've been wearing them for about a month now. There's no real obvious sign of wearing the sole at all, so I'm going to take that as a really good sign. All in, if you're looking for a very fashionable, very well-built Barefoot shoe that provides a lot of ground feel without the typical Barefoot aesthetic, then the FeelGround Courtside are probably going to be right up your street. If you're not quite sure though, check out this video up here for 5 other Barefoot shoes that I love. Otherwise, make sure you smash that subscribe button down there for more Barefoot content and free entry into our huge 10,000 subscriber giveaway, and I'll see you again soon.